Hey there, Algebra 1. Thanks for tuning in for another episode of Math with Mullins. Today we're looking at Lesson 1.3, Properties of Real Numbers. So our learning objectives today are recognize the properties of equality and identity, evaluate the numerical expressions by applying the inverse and identity properties, and then also evaluate those numerical expressions by applying some commutative and associative properties. Again, this is still a part of Chapter 1, review, so everything we see today should be a good review for our brains. First up, reflexive properties. Any quantity is equal to itself. For letters or variables, we would say A is equal to A. For numbers, 3 is equal to 3, or 9 plus 2 is equal to 9 plus 2. It's almost like you go into the doctor's office and they check your knee reflexes, and you can't control the knee reflex of your, I don't know the medical term for it, but you essentially kick when they bump below your knee. So it's like there's no time to think, it just is what it is. Symmetric property, I want you to think about looking into a mirror. The symmetric property just states if one quantity equals a second quantity, then the second would equal the first. So if A is equal to B, then B is equal to A. Or if 7 is equal to 3 plus 4, then 3 plus 4 is equal to 7. The last one you might have not heard about is a transitive property, and this is kind of like when I think about a domino effect, or one thing leads to the middle thing, which can lead to the last thing, so therefore the first thing can lead to the last thing. So if one quantity equals a second quantity and the second quantity equals a third, then the first quantity can be equal to the third. So for example, if you say if A is equal to B and B is equal to C, then automatically A can be equal to C. So we see how we connected 1 to 2, then we connected 2 to 3, so then we can say 1 is equal to 3. So same thing here. If 5 plus 1 is equal to 2 plus 4, and 2 plus 4 is equal to 6, then we know that 5 plus 1 is equal to 6. So what we're going to do now is identify different types of properties when we're given some situations. Maybe go ahead and pause the video here and decide what properties do you see in option A and option B, and then click play to check your work. So letter A is going to be an example of the symmetric property, because we're seeing that mirror image happening. If 13 plus 25 is 38, then 38 is equal to 13 plus 25. However, letter B, that's going to show the reflexive because nothing changed. It's literally copy-paste, okay? Y plus 4 is Y plus 4. Example 2 has us interpreting properties of equality. So if the amount of sugar in a recipe is equal to the amount of flour plus 2 tablespoons, and the amount of flour plus 2 tablespoons is equal to the amount of milk, then the amount of sugar is equal to the amount of milk. So write a verbal expression first and then decide what property it is. Let me get you to take a moment here and pause the video, try this one on your own, and when you're ready to check it, click play. All right, so letter A, I'm going to squeeze down here. Write a verbal expression. So the first part, it says the amount of sugar is equal to the amount of flour plus 2 tablespoons, right? TBS. And then it says flour plus 2 tablespoons is equal to milk, then sugar is equal to milk. And the reason why I had you write the verbal expression is because that helps us answer letter B. What is this statement representing? What property? This would be the transitive property, because it's showing first quantity to second, second is equal to a third quantity, and that means first quantity can be equal to the third quantity. All right, a little bit more here, and then we'll try something new. Again, pause the video here, use those properties of equality, read through, fill in the blanks, and when you're ready to check it, click play. All right, using the given property of equality to complete each statement. If I want to use the reflexive property here, y minus 2 is equal to the same thing, y minus 2. And then letter B, if 24 plus 11 is equal to 9 plus 26, and 9 plus 26 is equal to z, then 24 plus 11 is equal to blank. Using the transitive property, we want to say 24 plus 11 is equal to z, because that would be first to second quantity, second to third, so first to third can connect. All right, a lot of properties coming up here, but again, these are not anything difficult. We're going to use them to help evaluate questions. Really, it's just another way that your brain can think about these things. You don't have to answer them this way, but it's just another way that you're going to be seeing them. First one, additive property for any real number. A, the sum of a and 0 is still a. So that just basically says if you add 0 to any number, it's still going to remain that number. The additive inverse property is when you take a number and its opposite, you add them together, and they're always equal to 0. 2 plus negative 2, 7 minus 7, a plus negative a, always going to be equal to 0. And then the multiplicative identity property just states that for any real number, if you multiply it by 1, it's always going to be itself. So a times 1 is a, 4 times 1 is 4, okay? Next up, we have some additional properties. So the next one we see is the inverse property. The inverse property is basically when you take a reciprocal of a fraction and multiply it by itself, it's always going to be equal to 1. I'm going to work this one out down here, so that just says like 2/3 times 3 over 2 is equal to 1. Here's why. When I multiply fractions, my rules are to multiply straight across. So 2 times 3 is 6, and 3 times 2 is 6, and 6 over 6 reduces to 1. So notice I took the reciprocal of 2/3. Reciprocal just means flipping my fraction around, and when I multiply it together, I'm going to be able to get a whole number quantity. The multiplicative property of 0 states that anytime I multiply a number by 0, the answer will always result in a 0. Okay, so we're going to try a few of those properties, solving maybe the next 3-4 examples, and then we'll be done. Here we go. Using the addition properties, go ahead and pause the video here and evaluate it. Once you're done evaluating, click play to check your work. So this one does say use the addition properties, but how we're using addition properties is through order of operations. So I would first start solving by my parentheses, exponents, multiplication, addition, subtraction. And I went ahead and did my exponents and my multiplication. 4 minus 4 is giving me 0, so this is going to be the addition identity property. 0 plus 16 is just going to give me itself, 16. Here's our multiplicative identity, where we're saying the inverse or the reciprocal of a fraction, 3/2 and 2/3 is going to give me 1 whole, because this is 6 over 6. So really that just means 1 times 7, and that'll still keep it as itself. So we did 2 properties there, the multiplicative inverse property and the identity property. And then example 6, if you had time, let's try it. But you notice how we have a lot of things here in these brackets or groupings, but then timesing by 0, we automatically can say our answer is 0 here, because anytime we multiply by 0, we're going to get 0 as itself. Last little bit, the commutative and associative properties. Commutative and associative properties work with multiplication, and addition. So we want to keep that in mind as we read through these, okay? And these are just problem-solving strategies that we can use to help us with more complex questions down the road. Commutative property is when you change the order in which you multiply or add, and it will not change their product or their sum. So a plus b is equal to b plus a, in the same way that a times b is equal to b times a. The associative property is just the way that we associate those numbers and letters together. Still can use multiplying and adding, and all we do is we just group those numbers differently, okay? So here, when we see these letter options, a plus b is grouped, and then we're adding c at the end, and then that's still equal to a plus and then b plus c. This might not make any sense right now, but we're going to try a few examples to actually confirm that. So let's go ahead and try it. Personal finance. Jalen wants to add up how much money he spent on gas in July. He grabs 4 receipts he has for July, writes the expression that represents the total amount he spent. Evaluate the expression to determine how much money Jalen spent on gas in July. So one way we can do this is write down all of our numbers that we spent at the gas station. So $34.50 plus $32.50 plus $23.25 plus $31.75. And what I did here is I used the associative property. So I'm going to associate the 2 number values with 50 cents, because that can give me a whole dollar amount, and the 2 number values that have 25 cents and 75 cents at the end, because that can also give me a whole dollar amount. $34.50 and $32.50 are going to give me $67, and $23.25 and $31.75 give me $55. So then that helps me add just a little bit easier, because now I have whole numbers instead of decimals to worry about. So Jalen spent a total of $122 for gas in the month of July. Go ahead and see if you can try example 8. We're going to try to use the commutative property, so I want to see if you can figure out the best way to solve this one. So we're going to pause here, try it on your own. When you're ready to check it, click play. All right, remember commutative property just means we can say A times B is equal to B times A, right? So what we did here is we could just switch around the 9 and the 6/5. So we would see 5 over 6 times 6 over 5 times 9. And that kind of helps us group these two inverse or the reciprocal fractions. We would get 30 over 30, which is just equal to 1. And then 1 times 9 is 9. If we didn't use the commutative property, we would have done like 5 times 9 over 6 and then simplified, and that would create maybe a little bit more work for us. Last one, evaluating using the associative and commutative properties, so you can decide which one is best here. Jade buys groceries once a week and she wants us to calculate how much she spent over a 4-week period. Evaluate the expression to find out how much Jade spent at the grocery store. You go ahead and create your own expression, evaluate it, and when you're done, click play so you can check your work. All right, what I did here is I tried to find numbers that would give me kind of in the place values of 10. So I grouped 32 and 28 together. And then I grouped 27 and 33 together because I knew that 3 plus 7 would give me 10 and 2 plus 8 would give me 10. These both are going to give me 60, and then 60 plus 60 gave me 120. So I kind of used the commutative property and then associated them within their own parentheses. Okay, that's going to be all for our lesson today. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time. Have a great day.